So today I wanted to do a follow-up on my last video, which was on the entertainment business and the truth about the abuse that is in the entertainment business. And so as I was watching that video, it was interesting to watch it and then have this revelation about it. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. My name is Beverly. This is a channel dedicated to health, wellness, and fitness. And I also talk about my experience working in the entertainment business, which is what my last video was about. And I'm going to put the clip that I'm referring to in so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll also leave a link so that you can watch the full video if you are so inclined. But basically, I was talking about how does a Diddy happen or a Weinstein happen, or all these powerful people that you see behave horribly and all kinds of abuse that you see. And I talked about a particular producer that I work for and how abusive and how toxic that office was. And as I'm recalling the environment, I'm talking about how he yelled at his assistants and he would fire them, and the environment was just really, really toxic. But I'm minimizing the effect that it had on me, which is really what people who are in abusive situations often do. It's really a learned behavior. My sister and I grew up with neglect, not neglect like hungry, dirty, but neglect as in we were unsupervised and left on our own a lot. That's what I mean by that. But that's a form of trauma, among other trauma, but that's a form of trauma. And so you learn certain behaviors when you are a child in that situation. It's a way to cope. And so you kind of accept your situation and you also minimize it because it's how you are able to make it through those circumstances. That's how you're able to do it. The brain helps you get through that and you can justify it in your mind. And so anyway, in watching this last video that I did, I see myself doing that. Or when I got the call on my phone that, oh, this person wants to see you, I would sort of seize up a bit. And then what I would do, this is total abusive behavior, right? And again, I didn't get yelled at or anything like that. That's not what my experience was. But I knew who I was dealing with. And so whenever it was that I had to go down to this person's office, I literally went through in my head all of the answers to all of the things that I was thinking that they would be asking me, so that I wouldn't be standing there and not have an answer to whatever it was that they were asking. If it was, the checks that were written and what is this for and what is this for and what, and then if I had the first answer, if there was a follow-up question that I had crazy. And again, not even the worst of it, not even like getting yelled at, but witnessing that, and an office that witnessed that, and nobody did anything about it. Because everybody was afraid. So yeah, isn't that interesting to see me make excuses, justify, minimize all of these things that we do when faced with these situations. And even again, in recalling it, I'm not even in that situation, I'm minimizing it. I say, well, I didn't get the worst of it. I wasn't the one being yelled at. But my experience working in that office was there was always this undercurrent of fear that you were going to be on the receiving end of that behavior. Everyone in the office kind of knew that was always bubbling under the surface, that even though it wasn't directed at you when this would happen, there was always the possibility that it could be. And so when I watched myself explaining it and saying, oh, well, I didn't even get the worst of it, and it wasn't even me that got yelled at like that, it's really interesting to watch yourself doing that. You will find a way to minimize it so that it doesn't feel as horrible as it actually is. And it was so striking to me. That's why when I was going back through it and editing it, I put those asterisks with still abuse, still abusive, these things that I inserted there, because from a distance, watching myself, I could see myself doing that. And I think it's really kind of a larger explanation of how these kinds of environments remain intact, because people are conditioned to where it feels normalized. I liken it to a woman who says, well, my husband, he yells at me, but he doesn't hit me, right? He doesn't hit me. He doesn't put hands on me. I was doing kind of the equivalent of that when I look at myself, and it was bad. It was bad. Like, I wouldn't accept that behavior. I wouldn't choose that behavior. I did, though. It's a lot. I am in the era of my life of discovery, of peeling back the layers, of healing from the past trauma, of trying to be the best version of me, of being as honest with myself as I can be. And it's really a lot. The more you pay attention to yourself and your behaviors, the more you realize all these things that you do, which are coping mechanisms, which are ways of getting through it. And for all of us, we have this thing or the other thing, but to watch myself justify the behavior of just mean and nasty people and minimize it, it's really fascinating to watch and helpful, actually, to see myself and hear myself so that I can recognize when I do that again. Because the fact that I did it in this video tells me how deeply ingrained that is, and how little by little you have to be aware of that and then shift the way that you look at it and also shift the way that you talk about it. So anyway, I thank you so much for listening. If this interests you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you have any comments about it or a similar experience at a job where you worked in this toxic environment, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to read about it. And thank you again for spending time with me. And until next time, take it easy.